I'm John Burk, and this is my wife, Tiffany. And
I'm Brynn.
This is Brynn.
We went through a private adoption, and August of last year, it was really hot outside, and my son plays football, and so we would go to the football outside for several hours at a time, and it was about 105 degrees for that week. And so I would have my big jug of water, and she would have her big jug of water, and that's what we did on a daily basis for about a week and a half. And, it started cooling down a little bit more, and she never stopped drinking. So she was drinking about 130 ounces of water a day. As a 40-pound child, red flags. As a mother, you just know that there was something going on. I called one of my really good friends that was in the process of going through PA school. And she was like, it's got classic signs of what's called diabetes insipidus. It doesn't deal with the sugar side of diabetes, it's water and sodium side. We prayed about it, and I just called her pediatrician the next day, and I told him, I said, I need to see if I can get her in with an endocrinologist. He's like, we'll get her in right away. And so it had been August through December. I went into an endocrinologist, and we had prayed for a little while because I wanted him to be able to hear me. And he said, well, there's a medication that you can try. Let's just try it, because it was about 5 days before Christmas. And he said, I don't want to have to put her in the hospital over Christmas.
They have a standard test that they run for DI patients where they put you in the hospital and they take away your water and see how things respond, sodium levels, how your body responds.
Yes.
And it's torture.
He gave us the pill, and he said, I'll call you in a week, and we'll see if it helps. And she was a completely different person in about 15 minutes. I called him on the 7th day, and he said she has diabetes insipidus. He said, with that, we're going to have to do an MRI on her brain to see if there's something going on with the pituitary gland. At the beginning of February, we went in, and we weren't worried by the least. No. The pill was working. We had our daughter back. We had struggled for 4 months before that. And we did an MRI on her brain, and they said, go home. They called within 15 minutes of us leaving and said they found a 4-millimeter mass on her brain.
Just before the health struggle started, I went through a corporate layoff and lost health insurance, and it wasn't a priority at the time to replace the health insurance immediately. Looking back, it was a blessing that I was kind of released from my corporate job.
He was able to be at home a lot more.
I was able to be present. But when you get that call, as a father, one of your responsibilities is to be a protector. And this is something that I couldn't fix. And it was definitely a challenge.
After we did a couple of MRIs, we decided to go and have a brain biopsy at Cook's Children's, which means we had to travel and be away from the kids because we have 2 older boys. We had to be away from them for about 9 days. And the brain biopsy went great, but she ended up being put in ICU for several days. And that was a challenge because, being far away is one, away from our kids, but really not knowing, since this is so rare, diabetes insipidus is just rare. We had to do 4 cycles at 12 weeks of chemo, and then we did 5 weeks of radiation.
When I was doing radiation, and I was talking to myself, I was like, I came this far, I can't give up now.
Along the way, we had a need to sell a car.
It had been one of those things in the back of our minds, and he was like, let's just deal with it now, and I know that this is not the right time, but let's just deal with it now.
Ross came to look at the car, and I don't know why. I couldn't tell you to this day, other than maybe the Lord led me to do it. But I remember the conversation with Ross, and I said, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. I don't talk about it a lot, and especially with people I don't know. But here's what my family and my daughter specifically, here's what we're going through. And he said, I want to help you. Not only do I want to buy a car from you, but I want to help you.
Back in April, Ross was looking for a vehicle, and he had met a family, the Burks, and he came home and he said, Dad, this is a family that we need to help. And I said, of course, we'd love to do that. And it was just one of those things that the first time I saw a picture of Brynn and I saw her smile, I just kind of had a connection. This situation happened where Ross was in contact with them, and I didn't even meet the family before we started helping. The timing just was a little different, but for our ministry, it just doesn't matter. If someone has a need and we can help with that, we're going to do what we can, and then I'll meet the family when I can. And, the thing that I really, really see over and over our ministry is that it's not my timing. It's God's timing, and His timing is always perfect. And so we started posting for prayers and asking for folks to reach out and to help. And Ross actually put together a fundraiser so we could get some extra funds for them at a time when they really needed it.
But that's happened on several occasions just through this journey. Is just the Lord has put people in our lives. I do believe truly that it was the Lord, because honestly, there's been more blessings than a curse through this process.
We want to say thank you to everybody that supports Spring Creek Ministries and allows them to support families like ours.
Giving Tuesday is our single biggest fundraiser of the year. We want to ask you to partner with us and give to our fundraiser for Spring Creek Ministries so we can help other folks like we have the Burks.